Answer, no. I don't think he has been for a few weeks, and I think the World Juniors kind of showed just why. Like obviously, look, at the end of the day, Gavin McKenna is an extremely skilled prospect. He's going to be a really good player in the NHL. I have no doubts about that. But I don't know if he's showed enough. Much like we saw what he did last year, I don't think he's shown enough this year to really solidify himself as that bona fide number one. I think it's not just Ivar Stenberg, but I think there's a few names that are pushing, but most notably Ivar Stenberg. I mean, I think we saw in the World Juniors, I hate to base everything off the World Juniors, but obviously that's the most recent thing that we can go off of. And Gavin McKenna put up some hell of a numbers for as a 17-year-old, it's all impressive. It's all really, really good stuff. And like I said, he's going to be a good player. But we saw him dominate the games against the Denmark and, the lower level teams whereas you saw a guy like Ivar Stenberg not only push against those weaker teams, but also played some of his best hockey against the best teams. In that Czechia gold medal game, he had some unreal shifts. That Boumediene goal that ended up being the game-winning goal, that was all Ivar Stenberg. And so I can't get past the pro-ready tools that Ivar Stenberg just shows. And so, to be honest, it's one of those things, and I've said this for a few weeks now, it's one of those situations where I'm not going to be upset with either. I'm leaning personally towards Ivar Stenberg just because I do think he's an overall package, but I do think the upside isn't tremendous with Gavin McKenna. I just sometimes worry a little bit about the physical nature of his game or lack thereof. And I think there's a little bit more risk in terms of the floor with Gavin McKenna. But at the end of the day, you still take either or. He's still going to be a fantastic player. I've heard names like Patrick Kane or Trevor Zegras, kind of that, more perimeter style player. Whereas Ivar Stenberg, a little bit on the perimeter, but also doesn't mind getting into the meat cellar to get his cookies. So,
for sure. Speaking of McKenna, let's